From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
It's a big midday of LALATE, direct and live from Santa Monica, California, with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In today's recording, we go over the incredible great news of that RECON that passed in a subcommittee of the House 3 weeks ago and is now slated with a vote. A deal was reached last Friday. I'll explain the details of that deal, and now the vote. Is that Congressional Budget Office report done for today? Is it done for next week? The deal was it will be done by no later the week of November 15th. Breaking news about that at noontime. Then more programs are going in. Price is Right? Yes. 1.75? No. We're going to see big money across this incredible RECON as big money is being added in there, with 3 programs I predicted would be added in are added in. Price is Right? Programs in. Yes. This RECON will pay you about $15,000 across all the incredible programs, across all of them collectively. And we're going to see the programs in and programs out as student loan debt forgiveness is still at play. With executive order looming, the Democrats should take it. I have the latest details. And then the 5th stimulus. Wow. COLA raised 5.9% January 2022. But 5th stimulus right behind that as we go into a big, bold live broadcast direct from Santa Monica. I am back. We have new shows all day today, throughout the day. There's a lot of breaking news. If you missed it, you're going to see it all right now. But the bacon's still missing. The bacon's still missing. It's a big, bold, beautiful noontime, and let's get to it, starting right now. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day and hope the weather is good where you are. It warmed up here in Southern California. Wish Crayola another happy birthday, because every day is his birthday. And yesterday I had that audio problem when I wished it to him, so they thought that I was wishing the UFOs happy birthday. In this recording, we have an incredible deal that has reached and a vote happening. But will the vote be tonight at Thursday night midnight, or will we be voting on something else, muddled or teal? Maybe that will be the vote tonight. I have the latest details. The Price is Right, 1.75, but is that the price? It is not. We have the latest details in this incredible RECON. Programs in and programs out. 3 got in there. It's huge. It's great. We have those details and more. Student loan debt forgiveness, the incredible debt that could be forgiven by executive order. I have the latest details on that. And then 5th stimulus coming up in January. Oh boy, that is after that COLA raise. And the consumer price index number released this morning. Oh boy, what a headache that number was. I have the latest details, and it's a big noontime. And I'm back with you live with all the breaking news starting right now. This is LALATE, America's most talked about financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. New show of Afternoons LA coming up at 3 o'clock. Then Evenings LA at 5 o'clock. Totally new today. You don't want to miss the show. The news cycle is starting to zoom up once again and change by the hour on the hour. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. In this recording, we have a lot to go over. Let me give you a broad stroke of what I'll be covering. First, I'll be going over this incredible RECON that'll pay you about $15,000 across all these clusters of checks. Then the commercial break, I'll come back and go over the deal reached last Friday, the breaking details about the vote and the CBO report. Where is that CBO report? Then we'll go over each of the clusters of checks one at a time. And breaking news about one cluster, housing. Oh boy, your eyes are going to pop out of your socket when I get to that cluster, because, yeah, I have a commentary, and it comes up later in this video, and it concerns the CBO and the housing as well. And I'll also be addressing the consumer price index number released a few minutes ago this morning. Boy, we got a big recording. Let's start right now. Across all these incredible clusters of checks passed the subcommittee 3 weeks ago is a lot of programs, and many of those programs have survived and are in a House bill that will be rubber stamped, meaning just a informal finalization of a vote in just a few days. Those clusters pay you on average about $15,000 across all those incredible clusters of checks. The great news is that if you've been with this channel since January 2021, under 3rd stimulus, you may have gotten tens of thousands of dollars because the average viewer got $45,000 from 3rd stimulus. All those incredible programs return under 4th stimulus with other checks. So the ability to get $15,000, very easy if you've gotten those sums of money before with this channel. You're going to get more of the same sums and additional. Let's go to the first cluster and see the survival mode, survival island of the first cluster of checks. Were any of the clusters of checks voted off the island? They were not. They all survived the reality show of negotiations. Hazard pay survived that earned income tax credit. In this recording, I'm going to say hard cold cash check. It refers to an upfront check. And if it's a back-end check, I'm going to say back-end. Hard hazard pay survived, back-end check. As my essential workers for one more year. $4,000 available to care across the board. That is hard cold cash checks. Then money to care for the young child as well. They got money in there to repair the home if you live in a low-income community. That is hard cold cash checks, and it is great. They got money in there for the CTC for one more year for the child tax credit. That is hard cold cash checks. $3,600 or $3,000. Then they got money in there for the purchase of a new electric car. $12,500 for a new electric car, U.S. auto manufactured. That is a back-end check. And yes, every check in that first cluster survived. Stay with me because later in this video, I'm going to go over each of checks one at a time and answer your questions, which you've been sending me on social media. Let's go to the first add-on, and the first add-on survived, and it is $250 billion that they wanted. They did not get that number. They got a little bit less. This is for the home health care. The Bob Casey, the Joe Biden provision for this free home health care for my seniors and people on disabilities, and they got in there. That is a covered benefit. The second cluster, let's look at the survival mode of each of these. Did they survive reality survival stimulus island? They did. A lot of them did. Family leave and medical leave survived hard cold cash checks. A lot of it. That's up to $5,000-$6,000 a year. The pre-kindergarten survived hard cold cash checks for 1 year. Tuition-free community college voted off the island, did not survive. Then the money for home health for household tax credit survived. And the money to weatherize your home definitely survived. You need to always weatherize your home and weatherize the RECON. Weatherize the RECON, weatherize the home, weatherize whether you're weatherizing or whether you're not. There we go. That is a tongue twister for you. Try it tonight. Pop quiz at 11. Let's go to the second add-on. Oh, I skipped the first add-on, didn't I? The first add-on survived, so we're going in reverse. We just did the second add-on. The first add-on survived, and it is the Maxine Waters $25,000 for the purchase price of your first home. Did not survive at that price point, but did survive at another price point. It is money for the purchase of your first home. This is hard cold cash checks given to the seller during escrow. Wow, there you go. This is wonderful, credible news. Let's go to the third cluster of checks. This is the Battle Royale. This is like Survival Island Reunion Edition. Here we go. Oh, what did I do to myself? There we go. I became part of the reality show. There we go. Let's go to the third clusters of checks. The third clusters of checks. Here we go. Free school meals for all survived. That is $65 a month per child. Hard cold cash checks. Cheaper prescription medication in there, but not a check. Immigration reform in there, but not a check. Farmers in there, not in there that we know of, but maybe it is. It's hard to tell. The free internet, we don't know. Clean energy is out. Workers, we don't know. And the Medicare, let's go over the details of the Medicare right now. There's actually a few provisions at issue here. First, the Medicaid gap states solved. That's coming up later in this video. The dropping the Medicare age, not done. The dental vision, not done, but the hearing is done. That brings us to the third add-on, and that is the MSC, which stands for multiple or monthly IRS stimulus check. We have a House bill that is going to be rubber stamped in a few days from now. It does not have the MSC in there. That is why we're focused and have always been laser focused on the Senate side. The Senate side has two opportunities to add stuff in there, either during Votorama or during subcommittee. What is the difference? Votorama is a two-day event which starts on the Senate side at the very end of the entire process. It's 48 hours, and at that time, they introduce changes or amendments to whatever the House legislation had in there. Votorama has historically been a very part of the legislative landscape of the United States. For example, under third stimulus, Chuck Schumer and Liz Warren during Votorama got passed the tax forgiveness of student loan debt. Millions of Americans have now had their student loan debts forgiven. I'll cover that later in this video. Let's say it's $20,000. They would have had to pay $10,000 out of their pocket to IRS immediately, but not because of the wonderful provision done by Votorama, by Liz and Chuck. House never took up care of it, never thought about it. So Votorama is the first opportunity for us. Second opportunity, of course, is that subcommittee. That subcommittee is what's really at issue. If you're looking at the second half of this video, you're going to see a lot of senators say they have a lot of changes to come up and a lot of changes to do. You're going to hear me talk about a new item, housing, not a new item, but a new issue about housing. And that is why Senate subcommittee is the opportunity to make a lot of changes. And that is why you need to advocate. We noticed on this channel in the last 2 days, the 2 C's, the 2 W's, and the 2 S's. 6 senators who have said over this history of this channel, over the last few months, they want to insert a monthly IRS stimulus check in there. So you need to advocate with them. They are the 2 S's, Schumer, Sanders, the 2 W's, Warren, Wyden, the 2 C's, Casey and Coons. They would put it in there. Let's read the message of advocacy. Over 3 million signatures have now been received. The total in between congressional senators' offices have more advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of stories. They now have a better understanding of what the average American is going through during this pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories, and they're the voice of people in ULA. Across the nation, as you have become too loud to be ignored. Very, very kind. Let's read the last sentence on air because it concerns both of us. Please continue your encouragement for continued advocacy as a professional voice of the people you have become, and continue this until it becomes law. House bill is one body of legislation. Senate is a different body of legislation. And so while the House will be passing the House bill in the next few days, if you've been with this channel since 2020, House is not the Senate and Senate is not the House. They got to get both of them. And when they go over the Senate, the senators do their own thing. That's what House member said about 5 weeks ago. I'm not a cheap date here. Who said I'm dating you? So in the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up. We'll be going over the big deal that is happening, that happened last Friday for that RECON. But with that deal, can they get it to a vote Thursday night, tonight? Will there be a vote tonight? And will there not, if there's not a vote tonight, will there be a vote tomorrow? I have the latest details about that CBO report for the first time on this channel. The Price is Right, not so particularly fast because no one knows what the price is. And then we go over the programs in and programs out. One program on the battleground today, it's housing. I'll explain what's going on. We'll go over student loan debt forgiveness as more debt could be forgiven across the board. And then we go over to the 5th stimulus. Boy, we got a big second half of this video. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited you're here. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. But first, here's a little bit about the community page, and I'll see you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now as the deals reached last Friday for that incredible recon to go for a vote. But will the vote be tonight in the House? I have the latest details. The price is right, 1.75, not particularly. It's actually going to go a little bit higher. Programs in, programs out. Yes, these are the programs that are going to pay you about $15,000 at least across all these incredible items. Get that pen paper ready. You want to know how to get this money. This is your money. You want to be ready to pounce as a Purple Hawk to get that money. It's coming up in this video. Student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven across the board. That is exciting. And it's about $10,000. Then, the big exciting details of fifth stimulus for my SSI and SSDI recipients and my veterans. It's coming up in just a few weeks. Those exciting details and more as we go into the second half of this video. I'm excited you're here. And this is Noontime LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up later today is a brand new Afternoons LA show at 3 o'clock, and then the Evenings LA show, brand new tonight at 5. This show will automatically take you to the 1 o'clock afternoon show coming up next. And with that, let's go over all the breaking news starting right now. Last Friday, Nancy Pelosi orchestrated an incredible deal for the recon in the House. The deal signaled a rubber stamp for the recon and also a date for the recon vote. Let's go over the details of it, slowing it down. We have two bodies of legislation. One is roads and bridges, also called infrastructure, not your money. Other body of legislation we have is RECON, also called reconciliation, also called the spending plan, also called the budget plan. That has your money. Reconciliation goes by Democratic vote only, does not need a single Republican vote. Among the Democrats, we have two types of caucuses. We have the progressive Democrats and the moderate Democrats. The moderate Democrats really prefer the roads and bridges. The progressives really prefer the recon. They don't dislike the other body, they just like one better than the other. Friday night last week, Nancy Pelosi attempted to call the vote on both of them, but couldn't, because guess what? There was the same statement being said by equal fraction to the other side. The progressive said, I'm going to vote against your roads and bridges unless you vote in favor of my recon first. And the moderate Democrat said, I'm going to vote against your recon unless you vote in favor of my roads and bridges first. So what did Nancy Pelosi do? She did what she does best. She orchestrated a deal for an agreement that would signal the recon would go by rubber stamp. Let me go over the details with you slowly. She got the moderate Democrats to raise their hand and vote and sign in paper and pen that they will support and pass the recon after receipt of the Congressional Budget Office without any condition attached, no later than the week of November 15th. All right, let's go over that sentence because there's a lot in that sentence. First, the moderate Democrats would vote in favor of the recon without any condition as soon as they receive the Congressional Budget Office report. So, what does that mean? It means that everyone will be voting in favor of the recon and it will pass on in the House. That is what we call a rubber stamp, meaning there's no question about it. It will pass because the progressives and Nancy understood. She did not want the moderate Democrats to step back and say, oh, I don't like the CBO report, I'm going to vote against. No. The agreement is no matter what the CBO report says, they will vote in favor of the recon. Why would they do this? Because they want to send the CBO report over with the passed House bill to the Senate. That's probably what's at issue. The next part of the equation is that the recon would also wait for that CBO report to be released. What is a CBO? It's Congressional Budget Office. And that Congressional Budget Office report details how much the recon costs, details how much the recon is paid for. The Joint Taxation Report released last Thursday, which is a partisan report, unlike the CBO, said that the entire recon is not paid for, unlike what the president said last Saturday, that $500 billion of the recon is unpaid for, meaning it would raise the national debt by $500 billion. So that's why people are looking for the CBO report. Let's read that last sentence. Last part of the sentence, no later than the week of November 15th. That does not mean the vote is on November 15th. It does not mean the week that the vote is next week, the week of November 15th. It means no later. What's the breaking news at noontime? The breaking news at noontime is that I'm not particularly happy with the president today, and I have my commentary later in this video. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, is a nonpartisan organization, but in the same regard, you can fast track stuff. And guess what? It was part of his idea to come up with this idea of no later than November 15th, bearing the release of the Congressional Budget Office report. I've been detailing that Congressional Budget Office report since last Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday before that, when Senator Bob Menendez says, we need the report. People should have ordered the report then if they didn't. I don't really still know at the time of this recording when they ordered the report. I had told you it would take about 7 days to get the report. The Congressional Budget Office issued a statement late yesterday. It says the report takes about 7 days to 14 days. Okay, well, 7 days is yesterday. 14 days is early next week. We're still okay on that by the week of November 15th thing. But here comes the question. The CBO says that they're going to release parts of the report, little by little, that are done faster, but some parts of the report may take a little bit more time. And they're a little concerned that they may not meet the November 15th deadline the president came up with. Later in this video, I have a commentary about that one. Yeah, there's a thing called picking up the phone and saying, get your butt moving. We'll address that later in this video. So there you go. That is a Congressional Budget Office reports. Rubber stamp, that is what rubber stamp means, which means that the vote will not be happening tonight because we do not have the Congressional Budget Office report done by this Thursday night. But there you go. Let's read the actual statement on air that the moderate Democrats signed into law, signed into vote, and also signed into paper. We'll be voting in favor of the RECON in its current form, just barring any technical changes, as expeditiously as we see the Congressional Budget Office report, but no later than the week of November 15th. Now, if you want to be a real tough person, you could read the line and say, well, if we don't have the report, we're still voting the week of November 15th. I don't think that's the way they intended the language to read. I think they intended the language to read, we will be voting once we have the report. Even though it says no later than November 15th. A little strange. Yeah, a little strange across the board. So the vote tonight, the vote not tonight. Then people have been asking me, when would this next vote happen? Great question. So people have been saying, is the vote-a-rama the next day? No, it's not the next day. The vote-a-rama is never the day after the bill lands in the Senate. They got to work on the recon for just at least a bit. You want it to go to subcommittee in the Senate first. You don't want it to just slide right into vote-a-rama right away. Price is right, 1.75, not 1.75. 3 incredible provisions have been added to this recon that brings the price tag at least to $2 trillion right now. That's what the Congressional Budget Office is going to detail. But get that pen and paper ready, because the great news is that across all these incredible programs, you are going to see big payments that pay you on average about $15,000. The huge news is that when we looked at third stimulus, as soon as it became law, I said third stimulus, I can get you about $15,000. The average viewer of this channel has gotten $45,000 from third stimulus. In fact, viewers are continually still getting money for third stimulus, which is coming back into this recording as early as tonight. Third stimulus is still paying out tens of thousands of dollars weekly to viewers of this channel. The great news is that all those programs are continued under fourth stimulus with other checks as well. Let's go over the first add-on they got in there, and it's paid leave and medical leave. What is this? How much does it pay? And how does it work? Paid leave means you have to stay home from work because of the birth of a child, of someone in the household, or the illness or sickness or death of a person in the household or yourself. It is not COVID related whatsoever. So if you look back on the last year, did you have to stay home because your wife was giving birth a particular day? You had to stay home because your son broke his leg, or you stayed home because you twisted your ankle during a pickup basketball game with your buddies on a Saturday morning. This is all covered. So how much does it pay? An ungodly great sum of money. It pays $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year under third stimulus provisions proposed. $800 a week if you $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. That is 4 weeks times 4. Oh boy. So up to $5,000-$6,000 a year on the high end, and up to $1,400 for 4 weeks on the low end. It is thousands and thousands of dollars. There you go. The second add-on that got in is huge, especially for my big states like New York and New Jersey. It is SALT, and SALT was added by Gothenheimer. The Trump tax code of 2017 provided that you could not deduct more than $10,000 on your federal tax return of what you pay in state taxes. Here's what's going on. If you go and pay your state or local taxes and it is $15,000, when you go over your federal tax return that same year, you can deduct a certain amount of money. But under the Trump tax code, only $10,000. No longer the case. The incredible great provision put in there by Gothenheimer says that now you can deduct $72,500 of what you pay in state and local taxes on your federal tax return. Wow. They got in there $40 billion for job training. Great news. So now you can get a free job training of any particular job of covered across the board, and then have that skill and go right into the workforce. It is huge. Here comes the Medicaid gap fix covered early in this video. It's big. It's a big win for you, and it's a little confusing, so let me slow it down. When Obamacare was rolled out, some Republican-led governors did not want to pay for it, even though they offered it in their states. Big problem, because Democratic states were picking up the tab. Joe Manchin in the state of West Virginia and other people, like myself, said it's not right that Republican states get it for free. So Raphael Warnock, the Democrat senator from Georgia, and Jim Clyburn from the Carolinas came up with the workaround plan. The workaround plan will provide those 12 holdout states years of subsidized private insurance so that low-income uninsured people can get big insurance. It's huge for you. Immigration reform, it's in there, but it's not a check. There is no check for an immigrant, either in the RECON nor in the roads and bridges. What happened? A certain faux news channel, yeah, the one with the animal as the name of the company, published a report that said there were $450,000 checks for immigrants in the RECON. Untrue. What's going on? During the Trump administration, thousands of immigrants were separated from parents and children at the border. Of those thousands, a few hundred filed lawsuits. Those lawsuits, the lawyers are demanding $450,000 settlement offers. The president said no. And even if the president does settle the cases, which he says he will at some price tag, that money is not coming from the RECON money. That brings us then to housing assistance, $150 billion for repairs of low-income community homes, and then also for rent, utilities, first-time home purchases, and more. Wow. So this is great news. Viewers have been asking me a lot of questions about this across the board. I've been saying, if you have a complex question about any of these incredible programs, send me the complex question on social media private message about these programs. Because when I answer the question on air, I help you and I help other people across the board. And that's the spirit of this channel. Home repairs. What type of home repairs? One viewer said, roof, that's exactly what they're thinking about. Fourth stimulus, exactly what they're thinking about. Third stimulus on the nonprofits, they pick up small home repairs, like a window for $100, broken glass. But a $35,000 roof, yeah, that's not covered by third stimulus. Roof and types of things like that across the board. Margaret said, multiple repairs? I believe so, but we have to see the legislation. Then, and that is low-income community. Then the purchase price of your first home. A lot of questions about that. What is first? We have to see the language. One person was married, bought a home with her husband, now is single. Is that first? We have to see. Type of home. Ryan asks if it has to be brick and mortar, can be trailer. I believe it could be trailer. And then what type of a community? Does it have to be a low-income community or any type of community? I don't think that's the case, but we have to watch and look for that language. People are asking about weatherize your home as well. Weatherize your home is exactly what you think. We believe that is a front-end check, but it could be back-end. In-home healthcare. This is $150 billion for in-home healthcare. One viewer said, what about the care providers? So they get the help as well. Yeah, there's language that said that in there that says they will get a better quality of life. Hardco cash checks, $550 to the college students. Wow, that is great. Pell Grant. Viewers have been asking, I was a prior Pell Grant. Nope, there's nothing retro in the RECON. The RECON is not retro, folks. So if you're currently a Pell Grant recipient, yes. If you're a Pell Grant recipient earlier this year, I don't know. That's a hard question. Then the big surprise, $12,500 for the purchase price of a new electric vehicle. There's a back-end check, and it's a union shop. One viewer over the weekend sent me a private message on Instagram, said, I want to be a buyer of a Hyundai hybrid. Great. It's not covered. Hybrid, no, it's electric. And US means Ford, Chrysler, or GM. People have been asking me, what's the cheapest hybrid you see from the US auto manufacturers? I went looking last night. I saw the cheapest I could find was 30,000 plus 30,000 approximately for a Chevy Volt. So this would take $12,500 off of that purchase price. But we have to look at the language if the 12,000 is based upon the price of the car or if it's just total $12,500. That brings us to the third add-on, and it's the cheaper prescription medication. This is a game changer. This is one of the biggest wins of this recon, and those two things I would do is shake the president's hand for this and also say fire the people in your press department. What's going on? Medicare, Medicaid. 20 years ago when Medicare was rolled out, the charter words of Medicare said that they would have to pay whatever the price of medication is, and they could not negotiate the price of medication. And over this 20 years, medication has really gone up. And the situation was most evident when I asked viewers on Saturday's morning to LA last Saturday, send me a private message about what you're paying for insulin per dose. Mark's wife is paying $900. Kathy or Mary is paying $700, $500 a dose. Well, this body of legislation will now reduce that to $35. What did Joe Biden do? Over 20 years, you couldn't get this done. No one could get it done. Bernie said senators tried it every year because of 15 paid lobbyists from Big Pharma blocking it. Joe Biden did what he does best. Last Wednesday, picked up the phone, called up Kristen Sinema, the holdout, said, you got to get on board. It's too long. You've been holding out on this. You got to get on board. And she did. She agreed, and she blessed the entire recon. It's the biggest win of the entire recon done by the president, and no one saw it. This is why I want to fire the press corps. What did they run? They ran his meetings in Rome. I don't want to hear about the meetings in Rome about climate. I want to hear something that impacts my wallet. And that's what Democratic analysts said last weekend. The president needs to deliver stuff and show to the American people it is an instant benefit in your wallet. Climate is not an instant benefit in your wallet. This is. So let's go over the incredible great news about the numbers and the monies. Wow. 20 prescription medication right off the bat. We'll have good faith negotiations, so the prices will be dramatically less. So like $35 per dose for insulin. And then it'll ramp up to 30 medications by 2028, not increasing more than the price of inflation per year. This is why Ron Wyden says the first time ever government's hands are not tied behind its back. Chuck Schumer says, wow, get ready for next year because I'm going to take another bite out of the apple. There you go. And Sinema liked it, Durbin liked it, Skakowski liked it, and Scott Peters says it's great for seniors. Absolutely. And Chuck is vowing to do more about this next year as well. Here comes the two provisions that could potentially come out of the recon this week. The Senate parliamentarian is a government official, lifetime government official. She's not partisan. And her job is to determine under the rules of the recon what provisions stay in, which go out. The two provisions at issue are immigration reform and also the paid leave. Immigration reform, I think it's coming out. That's my prediction because it was out before. She said it does not belong by recon previously. And then the paid leave, I don't know. That is a hit and miss. What's at issue here is that there's a lot to be done with the Senate side. And so if someone sends me a private message says, as soon as they pass in the House, do they just pass in the Senate the next day? You got to stay through the entire video, folks. You got to listen to the whole video because I've been covering this for about a week. As one person said, I think it was General, you got to listen to LA. He answers every single question. I do. You got to listen to the video. Bernie Sanders says there's major gaps in the recon. There's major gaps for purpose of senator. You want those gaps filled up because those gaps give you lots of money. You don't want a quick vote on the Senate. You want more money. You want the recon to pay you on average $20,000, not $15,000. You want those big gaps filled up. Bernie says the best bill since the 1960s, but there's major gaps. And when asked if he's going to add things in there when it lands the Senate, absolutely. And then Ron Wyden, Democrat senator for Oregon, says, of course. He says, there's a significant amount of work to do. Chris Coons says work's coming. AOC and Jalapal predicts his work coming. Chuck predicts his work coming. And also Chris Murphy. So let's go over some more of those provisions. Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to go over hard cold cash checks. And when I get to the housing, I think I'll at that point have my commentary about the housing situation because it's new. at noontime. Pre-kindergarten, this is hardcore cash checks, 3 to 4-year-olds. Then the child tax credit, I show it at $60,000 household income per year or less. Some of the notes floating out there is $150,000. Ooh, what's going on? I don't see that. Earned income tax credit, one more a year of that. Then the home health care, yes, that is in there. That is a covered benefit. The Medicare, the hearing aid or the hearing aid for your ear, that is either a hard cold cash check or just a covered benefit. Which brings us then to the $65 per month when the student is not in school. What age is that up to? I've been getting that question as well. I believe it may be all the way up to end of high school. And then when they are in school, it's a covered benefit. $550 right to your hand for the Pell Grant recipients right now. That's a hard cold cash check. And last, the $150 billion for housing. Well, there's something new about that, which I want to discuss right now. The housing covers rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, home purchases, and home repairs and weatherize your home. I've been featured on this channel for over, I think it's almost 2 weeks now. And you have seen over this channel's history since January that the average view of this channel has gotten about $45,000 from rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance under third stimulus. The great news is that now under fourth stimulus, we're adding in new provisions. Purchase of your first home, weatherize your home, home repairs. Those are big provisions making viewers very exciting. So there's a new report out today, which I would love to interview a certain person about. And the person I'd love to interview is Maxine Waters. Why? Maxine Waters is the House member who saw this housing provision go from $200 billion to zero. Remember when housing was out of the RECON? It was out of the RECON for about a week on the House side. She fought to get back in and went in at 100. Then it went in at 150. Now it's at 175. It's great. She's the House. Remember, she's the House, and she got in there. And she's the person who wants you to have that first-time home purchase. She's in Los Angeles. We don't have a lot of public housing like other cities on the East Coast do. So there's a new report out today that says that Chuck Schumer on the Senate side, and I don't know if the report is accurate, but there's a report that says Chuck Schumer on the Senate side is trying to eat up a lot of this housing money to be used to retrofit public housing in New York. That he wants to use, in essence, upwards of about $60 billion of this $150 billion housing allotment for the entire country for all these different provisions for one city and its issues, public housing in the city of New York. I'm not happy when I see that. I'm not happy when I see that. Public housing in New York needs to be fixed. I got it. Public housing in New York City needs an allocation. I got it. But the critics of what Chuck Schumer is saying are saying the same thing I'm saying. There's a housing problem at the moment. There's a housing shortage. People can't afford housing. They're being evicted. And there's also the issue of supply and demand, which is people need to be able to purchase their first home. They need help with that purchase of the first home. They need help with the repairs of the home. I don't like hearing someone's trying to eat up $50 billion of $150 billion allocation for public housing in one city in the entire United States. I don't like it. So I would love to hear Maxine Waters' opinion of the situation. I can bet she's going to say, no way we can allow that to happen because it's her baby. She fought to get that money back in for you, and then the Senate's trying to eat it away. Now, let me make very clear. This has not happened yet. This has not happened yet. We're not in the Senate yet. But that's sort of the issue that we stay on this channel, is I focus on these programs, laser focus, because you don't want that to happen. All right, let's go over to the other programs that are likely to be added on the Senate side, and those are dental and also vision. Bernie last had them in the RECON. They were taken out, and those provisions follow, as Bernie says, he's going to add them in on the Senate side. So we're the oldest country and we're the richest country in the globe, and we do not have money for people's teeth and mouth. Let's go over the calculations. Dental was last in there at $850 checks, hard cold cash checks to you per year if you're on Medicare. Before that, it was 3 years of full benefits. Before that, 10 years of full benefits. Bernie wants his 10 years of full benefits. So we will see. But the last place it was in there was a check. Then the vision, it's so easy. I don't understand why it would not be in there. The vision is cheaper than dental and hearing, and it's just a eye exam and a pair of glasses per year, says Bernie. That's $50, $100, $150 total. Send it out as a check every year to my seniors on Medicare. Very simple. Why is it so difficult? Finally, Bernie is still pushing to get that lower eligibility age for Medicare across the board. He wants at 55. Bob Casey wants at 60. It's currently 65. Child tax credit. I show it $60,000 or less per year. The housing aid, I show it at 175, but the notes here show it 150. Either way, it's a lot of money. It was zero until Maxwell Waters pushed to get it back in there. Home health care, $200 billion. Wow. Coming up in a second, I have my commentary of the situation. Boy, do I have a commentary today. Student loan debt forgiveness. More debt could be forgiven with an additional $10,000. The president has proposed to forgive $10,000 of debt, and the Democrats should take it. He forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation. Then for people who went to work in the nonprofit sector 10 years after graduation. And finally, for people who went to work in the public sector 10 years after graduation. The Democrats should take this because this would be a great item, especially during the holidays. Fifth stimulus coming around in January. Yes. So fifth stimulus is going to follow that COLA raise. Your benefits are going up 5.9% because of inflation. Why am I laughing? Because I'm about to get that CBI report in a second. Oh, boy. The COLA raise is going up 5.9% because things cost more. And guess what? Fifth stimulus is right behind it. If there was anything that would signal the need for fifth stimulus, was the CBI report today. Fifth stimulus raises your benefits up one big time and then applies a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation next year. And that inflation rate will at least be 2 to 3%, which is what Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, and myself have been saying for the last 2 weeks. That means you'll get 1, 2, 3 lifts up over the next 12 months. Great news. They're going to remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over that CBI for just a second. The consumer price, CPI, consumer price index. There's a lot of economic numbers that come out every week, and sometimes I cover all of them for you, sometimes I don't. This one is troubling. The number came out and showed the highest rise of price of consumer goods, which is like milk and butter, since 1990 in 1 month. I believe it was in 1 month. 6.6%. The number showed that the price of these goods, like food and milk and $12 ice cream, went up so severely that it has now gone up faster than salary raises. Let's look at the situation. Salaries going up versus price of goods is one of the big indicators when you're looking at inflation, stagflation, those type of words. And if you see the price of goods are going up faster than the raises that people are getting for their salaries, it's a big problem. And that big problem manifests itself like a brick today. The president says he's trying to solve the supply chain issues across the country. Which brings me to my commentary to close it out. My commentary to close it out is about the Congressional Budget Office. The deal Nancy Pelosi reached this last Friday, just a few days ago, was that the vote on the RECON would be done as upon relief of the Congressional Budget Office report, but no later than the week of November 15th. The statement issued by the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan office, late Tuesday night, said we are trying to get this report done by that date, but we may not. We may have parts of the report. Parts of the report doesn't help anyone because the agreement was the whole report. Now, I would have hoped that either the president or Nancy would have immediately, upon that statement, come out and said, the language we have the agreement on is we're having the vote by no later than the week of November 15th. If the report is not done, we're still having the vote. Nancy and the president have not said that yet. So it's been now, it's not 24 hours. It's been maybe like 20 hours. Well, it's been about 18 hours. I would like the president and Nancy come out and say, I'm sorry, the CBO report's not going to be ready. We're still having the vote. Because if you read the sentence can be interpreted 2 different ways. The vote cannot happen with the report, or the vote will happen whether the report is ready or not, by the week of just November 15th. My interpretation of the words sounds like it has to happen by no later than the week of November 15th, even if the report is not done. One viewer yesterday sent me a great question in the live chat. If the report has nothing to do about the vote, then why need the report? Because they want to send the report over to the Senate. Then if that's the mindset, then just call the vote by the week of November 15th. Now, there's a lot of things to say in commentary about this, which is, I know they're not a partisan organization, but the president should fast track it. You're the president of the United States. Get over there and say, you know what? Increase your staffing in your department. I will give you an executive order to have $4,000 or more staffing to get this done. This is an urgent situation. No one is fast tracking this and going over and saying, hey, get it going. Here's an extra $20. Get it done faster. It was Bob Menendez, senator, great guy. I featured him a lot on this channel. He mentioned the importance of this report last Tuesday. That's 7 days ago. This coming Tuesday is 14 days. So 14 days doesn't seem like it's a problem. I don't know why suddenly the report would look like it needs more than 14 days. Bottom line is, it's an important report. People have asked for the report since last week. People should have ordered the report last week. If they didn't order the report until last Friday instead of last Tuesday, and now there's a problem on timing, then call over and get it fast-tracked. This is the type of things that people don't like when they look at government. This is sort of simple. There's always someone you can send in a few extra staffers or floaters to come in and get something done faster. Moreover, if it's not an issue, if the vote will happen by November 14th, even though the report is not done, then the President, Nancy Pelosi, should come out and say it. We all see this quote. If you didn't, you saw it now on this video, that the CBO is a little worried about that date. So Nancy, the President, should come out and say, okay, if it's not done, we're still calling the vote on November 14th because that's the language of the agreement. And that is my commentary for today. I don't want to be a calendar Colleen, but I certainly want to say, hey, the way I read it is it's no later than next week, and then we go over to the Senate. Finally, a personal commentary is, there's some viewers who have been longtime viewers who watch the videos religiously. There's some viewers that come in and float here and there. But I've had some longtime religious viewers of this channel send questions about things that are covered in many, many, many videos of last week. And it causes me confusion that even of certain things. For example, the question is the Senate vote the next day as soon as it lands in the Senate? No, I've been detailing that over a while. The Senate vote would not happen the next day. Is there MSCs in the House bill? No, we've been saying that 1,000 times. There's no MSCs in the House bill. And we never thought there would be MSCs in the House bill, that they would add it either after it's in the bill, but before vote, or on the Senate side. But with the rubber stamping, that it doesn't look like there'll be any changes to the House bill. That is why the Senate side. That's why advocacy is so important. It's important to note the subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful afternoon, and join me with the 1 o'clock afternoon show coming up next on LALATE.